Tomorrow, we're going to look at 5 houses, and all 5 of those houses, you have to pay my commission. So you ready to get started?
Yeah. And they're going to be like, wait, let's just wipe Tuesday off the map.
Yep, exactly.
Hello and welcome to X to Z Money Masters. I'm Devin. This is Jeff. If you get anything from this video that you think was valuable, or you like the content that we're putting out, or you like the message that we're trying to help everybody learn the things about finance that you didn't get in school, drop us a like, throw us a comment about any kind of financial situation that you're in. We'll do our best to give you some guidance. Today, we're going to be talking about the N.A.R. lawsuit that happened in, I believe it was Missouri, right?
Yep.
And how that is going to affect you going forward. Now, the lawsuit was tailored to the commission that a seller would pay. Now, the origination that the seller would pay the commission is because typically when a seller sells their house, they have an equity. And when a buyer, especially a first-time buyer, comes into the property, they don't necessarily have the cash on hand to pay for a real estate agent. So it allows the American economy to continue to flow. And money flow is what the American economy needs, right?
Yeah.
So now this lawsuit is in the ballpark of, who said that I was going to do this? There was no negotiation. There's a bit of a monopoly here. And what exactly was the headline that was printed?
Lawsuits that were coming out, right? Because of course, if anybody gets a chance to jump on something these days, they do, right? But it's a $418 million settlement announced this morning. And the headline is that the days of a 6% commission are done, that the industry is going to change. The subheadlines are that this is going to cause housing prices to go down because agents like us aren't making as much on those transactions. And so it's going to provide a little bit of consumer relief overall as the cost of acquiring homes declines, because the commission as a percentage of what you're paying should, in theory, decline, right? And so the reality is that you have this legal settlement. You have all of these lawyers running around trying to get this situation solved so that we can get back to doing business of buying and selling homes for Americans, right? Which is, Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? Shelter is right up there at the top. It's very, very important. But what I wanted to do today, Devin and I, was take just a moment and talk about this headline that's out this morning. And is it really going to change things much? Okay. And I think it has some potential to change some things, but the reality is that you mentioned earlier, so the whole idea of the seller paying the commission kind of came out of all of our GIs returning from World War II, right? So we have all of these people that fought in World War II that are coming home after the war, and with the dream of home ownership. And most buyers struggle to come up with a down payment of even 5 or 10% on their home, let alone then paying a commission to their agent. And when the home is appraised, let's say that you're buying a home for $400,000, and it appraises at $400,000. Then you've got to still would have to come out of pocket for the commission over and above that, in addition to your down payment and your closing costs. And it would become very prohibitive for a lot of buyers to buy their homes. And as you mentioned so perfectly, the idea then was sellers have equity built up in their home and they can afford to pay that commission, right? So what happens now? Well, reality is this. If you want to sell your home in the marketplace, and let's say your home is worth $500,000 and you want to sell it, and you sign a listing agreement with Devin to sell your home, and you say, Devin, I'll agree to pay you 3%, but the buyer agent is going to have to negotiate the commission between her and her buyer, or he and his buyer. That's not my concern. Well, what's likely going to happen then is the buyer with the client that buys with the agent that buys the home may not come look at your house.
They may not be able to.
Yeah.
Because, if you think about it realistically, if I go to purchase a house right now, I pay 3% to my realtor to purchase the house. I have to pay the down payment. You could be talking about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 just to get into a home. Well, at that point, then whenever you go to sell the house, you still have to pay 3% to sell it. So we're still talking about 6%.
Right.
So where's the big loophole here? Anyways, regardless of that fact, even if you list your house, like you said, and you're like, I'm not paying the buyer agent commission. Okay, well that's perfectly fine. Let's list it. 3%, 0% co-op. The agent on the other side gets nothing. Their buyer must pay them their commission.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any agent that's worth doing this job is going to require a percentage of some sort. Let's call it 2.5, 3%, anywhere in that ballpark. That's going to knock out your FHAs, probably your VAs. Now you have conventional and investor. So you just knocked out 50% of the market. And then the other of the 25% of that market that's now coming to look at the home doesn't want to pay their agent a commission. They want to go to another house where the seller is willing to pay.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen very quickly is you're going to have two pools of real estate. You're going to have a pool where there's no buyer agent commission offered, and you're going to have a pool where there is a buyer agent commission offered. And one thing I am absolutely sure of is salespeople are going to sell the homes where there's a commission. It's just common sense. And if you're out there right now watching this video, pounding on the drum saying, you realtors make too much, or we shouldn't have to pay that commission to you. Understand one thing: you absolutely can go out there on your own and buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. But if you have a realtor with value that knows what they're doing, there's a very, very good chance they're going to save you a lot more than that 3% commission during the life of that negotiation. Devin, I'm in a transaction right now in escrow on a house my clients are buying for $660,000. We are negotiating back and forth on the deal because the seller failed to disclose that the solar that was on the roof was purchased in a loan. Let's say that the solar loan balance was 50 grand. It was not disclosed anywhere in the MLS. And so after we went into escrow, we got the statement of the solar balance showing greater than $50,000, which changed the buyer's debt to income and ratios for their loan, right? Now, if my buyer didn't have me there as a licensee assisting them through this process, imagine the pickle they'd be in right now, trying to navigate whether to go forward, get all the data and numbers to make the right decision while the clock is ticking on their escrow deposit and whether they can get it back or not. So I'm in there navigating all of this for them, explaining the risks, explaining the benefits, and helping them to arrive at the best possible decision. Is that worth something? Yeah, I think it is. And I think a whole lot of people are going to go out there thinking that they can do it themselves, and they're going to end up, some will be fine. There's a lot of smart people in the world. They'll figure it out. But there are going to be some folks that are going to run into a tough situation. And so my prediction, Devin, and to our viewers is I think there's going to be a little period of disruption and a lot of headlines and sound bites. But at the end of the day, I don't think much is going to change. And I'm not saying that from from some position of authority or some position of having a crystal ball. I'm just saying reality is the system works. It works really, really well. We have amazing home ownership in the United States of America. We have home ownership wealth. It creates more wealth than anything does. And the system and the process works. It's efficient, and people are relatively safe in the process because they have advisors, they have disclosures, they have things like that, right? I don't think when we look back 5 years from now, much will have changed.
Right. And I think the one thing that it will change is the sellers that are willing to compel themselves to provide the additional 3% to the other side, the 6%, or even 4% to the other side, which we see in some cases.
Yeah.
Now if you provide 4%, you're willing to sell your house for 7%. You get 3 to the seller agent, 4 to the buyer's agent. Every buyer's agent that sees the 4% commission on the other side is going to snap up on your house. And then now
Huh.
the other 50% of the market that you have that you've basically thrown away, or the other 50% of the market that is selling for 0% co-op commission, they're not going to get any action on their house. Even if the agent does come by, it's likely that there's going to be a better opportunity of a rise for the buyer and or the agent, because the agent could definitely find more opportunities, probably a better value with the co-op commission. And now you have more people looking at the co-op commission side of this of real estate and creating a supply crunch of these homes. And then these homes become over and abundant, and you're losing value. So if you want the premium price for your product, you're going to pay people to market it well. So if you find if an agent comes to a 0% commission, they're going to force their buyer to pay that commission, and that buyer's going to be like, I don't want to do that, or I can't.
Devin, I see a day. Let's say that you're my customer and I can see you fly into Vegas, right? You're flying in from Colorado. You want to buy a house in Las Vegas. Devin, today we're going to go look at 5 houses. All of these houses, the seller is paying my commission. Tomorrow we're going to look at 5 houses, and all 5 of those houses, you have to pay my commission. So you ready to get started?
Yeah. And they're going to be like, wait, let's just wipe Tuesday off the map.
Yep, exactly, because it is the classic struggle. And so, folks, as you read the headlines, just understand one thing. If you find a good agent, a professional licensed realtor, and you hire them to help you in your home search, I think you're going to be far better off than you're going to be trying to do this on your own. I think you're going to see more inventory, you're going to get more questions answered, and there's going to be some expertise around you through the process. And I think that's valuable. I think I can look in the camera and tell viewers right now, I'm worth the 3% by a long shot, because of all of the skills I have in negotiating, because of all the skills I have in determining what something should cost, down to even something as simple as, hey, homeowner, what should you actually do with your home before we put it on the market? What's the value of that expertise and guidance? I think you'll see there's a whole lot of lawyers and politicians running around in the United States right now excited about the news. But the reality is, I think we have a system that works really well for the majority of people, and I think it will survive and look very similar to what it looks like now in 3 to 4 years. But we will have a little disruption.
You want to talk about reducing the middle class, or the middle class is leaving? Make the middle class pay for the purchase of their house to the agent.
Yeah.
You want to see an uprise?
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it cost an extra $20,000, $15,000 to purchase a home.
Yeah, so we like to talk about subjects that are real, that are right in front of us. We like to help people think through the process of making decisions as a Gen X, as a Gen Z, how we approach things differently. So if you like what you're seeing on this video, make sure you like and add a comment. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what we're doing good. Tell us if we're not doing something good. Tell us if you'd like to see something different. But most important, if you are going through something right now, financially, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks and bonds, whether it's savings, whether it's an IRA, a 401k, whatever the subject might be, throw that question in, and we'll either reach out to you directly with an answer, or maybe make it a video subject and address it in the near future. But we thank you for watching X to Z Money Masters, and we wish you a great day.